Hey, this is Jackie Chin, and you're listening to Zombiepalooza Radio Live. Tonight we are here with the film crew and creator of a film called Effed, or Final Days. And I would like to welcome to show Ash Hamilton. Welcome to show.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Good, good. All right. So tell us a little bit about your film and how you decided to come up with the idea and the ways that you went in to implement.
Well, I had come off of another film, Holes in the Sky, which was my first feature, and I was wanting to do something a little bit different. It was a mockumentary, so the format lent itself to sort of part documentary, part found footage. And I've always liked this idea of a lot of in-world cameras, especially when you look at, like, for one example, the amount of cameras that they have in Great Britain. Like, if you were able to access all those cameras, you could create multiple films based just off of the coverage they have. And I thought, well, let's try to do something where we're pivoting back and forth between people's phones, more cinematic narrative cameras, security cameras, just about anything that we can get a hold of. But for me, I love these apocalyptic thrillers. I love end of the world and end times thrillers. And there's sort of a trend in a lot of those films that the journey through a lot of them is leading up to it, as whether or not they're going to be able to stop it, whether or not these characters are going to be able to survive. So a lot of that also is centered around people who are pivotal to whether or not it's going to happen or whether it's not going to happen. Like, we're always with a Green Beret or with this or with that. And my idea was always, let's put it back in the hands of just average, normal, everyday people and see how they navigate through that. And not just navigate through sort of building up to it, but let's actually have it happen while it's going down. So where we're at ground zero. And I thought, well, if we're doing that, it would be interesting if we could split that up into different stories, see where it's happening sort of across the United States, around the world at the time, and incorporate that into this interwoven narrative. And that was sort of the genesis for the project.
Yeah, 'cause you have like 5 different directors. You also have a piece that is a full wraparound as well. And your idea of being able to bring multiple viewpoints into a film and have it look like it is absolutely seamless is exactly what you've accomplished.
Thank you.
You went through and picked a number of people to be directors, and let's talk about that process and how you went about deciding which ones you were going to choose.
Well, you have to sort of look at people who are not only capable, but who are also prolific and have a lot of projects under their belt and can do things relatively quickly. Because I'm not a fast filmmaker by any means. I'm a very slow filmmaker. So where a lot of people are putting out, 2 or 3 films a year, that's not really how I approach things. But I admire the people that can do that. And for this project, that was pretty essential to be able to pick people who I knew would be able to accomplish what we were trying to do and accomplish it, within a time frame. Especially when you take a look at the bigger picture, which is there's an awful lot of time spent on post production, especially for some of the stuff that we wanted to do, which was much bigger scale. So
Mm-hmm.
there was going to be time, in the editing room that was going to account for months and possibly months. So how could we get that footage? How could we get that narrative quickly and then reserve that time to work on the finished project? So I had seen in the found footage realm guys like Dylan Brown and Josh Brucker, who I both tapped, who were constantly working on projects. These aren't guys really that slow down that much. They've constantly got something on slate. And not only are they capable filmmakers, but like I said, they're prolific in the amount that they do. And I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was probably a good path for us to follow, was to not only know that we could make a capable film, we could make a solid film, but that we could also adhere to little deadlines, which we went over, which was mainly in post production. But to be able to have all that footage and then go over in post production is not necessarily a bad thing, because you've got what you need, and it's just the massaging and nudging, of that footage.
As I looked through a lot of the footage for this film, Final Days, I noticed that like the coloration of it seemed to be all of equal quality, and the actors, all of it, it just seemed literally like it was one seamless piece. And it takes a bit of skill and a good eye to be able to do that. Who else worked on this film um, in I would imagine post, and um, whom would you like to credit?
We had a lot of people who were there for the process. Not to pat myself on the back too much, but a lot of those man hours, as far as once I got a lot of the completed footage in, was probably something that fell on me. But I did have a lot of people that were here not only for moral support, but were also here, just as a litmus test to say, how does this look? Am I approaching this the right way? Stephen Taylor, who was a producer and one of the writers on my segment, was instrumental to that. My wife Chanel was also instrumental to that. Some of the other directors, Ben Harrell, for example, because he's local and he's someone that could, come to the studio and see what was happening at the time that it was happening. So there were a lot of people that I was able to use as a sounding board, thankfully, because, when you've got your own footage and then you've got, footage from other people, which came to me relatively finished. So it's a matter, though, of what order are these things going in. How do we do the wraparound in such a way that each segment is complemented and then complements the overarching story. So, there's some trial and error there, but, I use the term like happy accident a lot. And in this situation, that was sort of what it was a bit of a happy accident that it came together the way that it did, in the time frame that it did.
Would you like to show the trailer?
Always.
All right.
Diane, this world has plagued us by holding back our true power. Death will have no hold. However, when that door does open, we will be imbued with celestial power. Life will be eternal.
Bring a knife with you. This is the ultimate tool.
Let me go, Mom.
I'm not gonna make it till the morning. I tried everything I could.
The end of the world is here. It's now.
Everything we're fighting for is gone.
Ah. All right. Let's get the share screen off. Or where? Woohoo! We are holding out for a hero. All right. How many views has your trailer received so far?
It's on a few different YouTube channels. I mean, like that one I think was Britflix, but on our Horrifix YouTube channel, which was where we premiered the trailer, and probably the one that we've shared the most. When I checked today, we were passing 65,000 views.
Yes. That's so freaking cool. I want to give a shout out for your page, so I'm going to throw this up. I'm going to try to throw this up. There it is. All right. That's a lot of really, really cool stuff going on. Give a little bit of conversation about your page, Horrifix.
Well, at this point, we've been up for coming up like, oh, geez, maybe almost 14 years. So we've got 14 cataloged years of news and reviews and interviews and exclusives and everything. I mean, we've been there for quite a while, and we do pride ourselves as being still truly independent. A lot of the bigger sites have changed hands and have fallen into the hands of bigger studios, and I'll just say like studios that have their own agendas and promote their own stuff. So, you know, for us, it's it truly is a love of the genre, because everything that we do is truly from an independent angle.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rest, and we are going to go next to Thomas. Welcome in.
Hello there.
I'm so excited to have you here. All right. So for those of us who do not know who you are or what your background was before you came to this film, give us a little bit of that, and then we're going to talk about your part.
Oh boy, I am what we affectionately call here in Springfield, Illinois, a North Ender. Born and bred, raised. I will die one no matter where I live in the world. I am an artist by default, I guess, because I really have no other skills. I guess, and I met Chanel 14, 15 years ago, maybe, through the art program. She was hosting a third Thursday at one of the local venues here, and that's how I met her. I have a background in retail and restaurant stuff. So in those worlds, you are the product, especially restaurants. You know, you are that yourself is what makes you the money. You know,
Yes.
you serve good food and you treat people well. That's where everything comes from. I am a custodial for one of the local universities here in Springfield. I am also a student as well, doing art, ceramics, sculpting. That is my joy. I've been doing a lot of making Cupid dolls turn demonic lately, putting horns and ripping the heads off baby Jesus.
Can I make a special request for one? And where do I go to do that? 'Cause let me tell you.
Sure. And then other than that, I just, when the Holes in the Sky came around.
Hey, that's a good flick.
Yeah, it is. Very good flick. Very good. And she had reached out to me and wanted to know if I was interested in having a very bit part in their film. And I said, sure, heck yes, let's jump on that. And I had maybe 8 seconds of screen time then, but I loved it. I had a good time. Chanel and Ash are very, very good people. Met a lot of other good people through that situation. And then when final days came around, it was still effed back then. Name change came along.
Had a little bit of a thing going on. I'm going to ask him about that later, but yeah.
But then they called me and asked me if I would be willing to have some lines and have some more screen time. And I'm like, oh, hell yes. That sounds great. They were looking for an older gentleman who was kind of a curmudgeon jackass type. And I guess I fit that. And I've been
stuff?
I've been known to be kind of grouchy and grumpy, you know.
Me too.
I own it. I own it. And so I read for them and went down one Saturday morning, read for them, and got the part later on that afternoon and drove, I don't know, 45 minutes for 2 or 3 nights while they were filming around my scene in the newsroom, and just had a really good time with it. Got to meet some great people, and I'm hoping to look forward to doing some more of this stuff.
Dude, you got like almost 8 minutes of screen time. What was that like for you to actually have more, a little bit more than just a bit part?
Even the very first film, the bit part where I was 8 seconds to 8 minutes, the next film, Ash and Chanel and everyone treated me so well, so kind, took care of me, guided me. I didn't know Kayla Kelly. She's an award-winning film actress. Ash and his buddies are award-winning film directors and producers and all that good stuff. And it was just a joy. I had a good time. I learned some things about where to stand, where to look, how to present myself, listen to more direction, in that environment. I listen to my wife a lot, so that's really good. I listen to the kids that are in my life. And so it was a new world for me, but I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. If I get stereotyped as the curmudgeon old man, I'm good with that. I'm an old man. I'm a dad. I'm a grandfather. I'm a great
Should be
grandfather.
proud of that.
Been
Own
around a
all of
little
that,
bit.
right?
Been around a little bit. So, yeah.
I'm going to show a few photos.
Okay.
I'm going to show that. There you go. Look at you.
Yeah. A little
Talk a
shorter
little-
hair there.
Talk a little bit about what's going on here.
I think that might have been just like a screen grab because I really don't have an honest to goodness headshot. But that looks like a screen grab from the night there, and had a little shorter hair back then. It may be when I'm talking to the Kayla Kelly's character, Corinne, and confronting them there in the newsroom, and just having a conversation with them, trying to get to the bottom of some things.
You look a little curmudgeonly. All right, so we're gonna go here next. You have a little accident with some wine.
I did. Yeah. Don't stand too close to a swinging door when you're drinking a glass of wine.
No, right?
Yeah.
There's a
There you go. Yeah, but yeah, it was a tasty glass, that's for sure.
This
And,
was too. I mean,
yeah. It's amazing. I got none on my suit jacket. It all went straight to my shirt.
I just, these things happen, and we don't question stuff.
No,
And besides, suits are expensive to clean.
it is. I guess
All
that
right.
maybe it goes to the awesome control that the environment I was in.
I think so too. And then we have another where you look like you're taking a little nap.
Yeah, too many glasses of wine right
It's
there.
just, after a while, and things get tiring and all of that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I think that was after the conversation. Had one too many glasses of wine. You see, there was some on the wall there. The
They went everywhere.
And I do have a super ability that my superpower is nap anywhere, anytime.
Yep, I can fully understand that. Thank you for your time. Right now, we're going to go over to Hunter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Hunter. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing pretty good.
You know, you're doing a little something here. For those of us who do not know who you are or what it is you do that kind of connected you into this film, Final Days, give me a little of that.
I've done a lot of stuff in lifetime. I've been a police officer. I've been a teacher. I've been a filmmaker and actor. I've done a lot of things. What kind of got me involved in this movie was one of the directors that Ash mentioned earlier, Joshua Brucker. Him and I have worked together in the past on several projects. We actually, him, myself, Dylan, and a few other individuals co-own Horror Dads Productions. And we're just a group of dads that work 9 to 5s. You know, like I mentioned, I'm a teacher now. Who find the time to make horror movies. So working with Josh in the past, when Ash had approached him about an idea for Final Days, Tale from the End Times, he just kind of came to me and kind of, pitched an idea, and we talked a little bit about it. And I guess the rest was history on that point. We got together and made a movie.
All right.
Or made part of a movie, I should say.
You have a piece called Bug Out.
Bug Out was our segment. Yes, correct.
And you directed it.
I did not direct it. That was Joshua Brucker.
That's right. All right. So Joshua Brucker, thank you for adding Hunter to your piece called Bug Out. Give me a little bit about what it was like to work as part of this anthology.
It was really fun and unique. One of the things that we do at the production company that we co-own together with, like I said, a few other individuals, is we improv a lot. So when we filmed Bug Out, we met up one weekend, and the entire time we kind of pitched ideas to each other of where we wanted things to go, how we wanted things to appear. And so the entire thing from beginning to end, there was not a single written line of dialogue. That was all improv, kind of made up on the moment, spur of the moment stuff. And I was able to help Josh get a few other individuals to work on the movie as crew and a little bit of talent that you see later on. I won't spoil anything, of course. So it turned out to be a pretty cool project. And it was cool, to go from beginning to end in the same formula we've done many times. Ash mentioned earlier that Joshua Brucker and Dylan Brown are just constantly full of things they're doing and, pushing movie after movie after movie and project after project after project. And we as a company have just found such a good way to continually just put things out there that, some people love. But you're always going to have haters too. But we found a good formula that works, and we just we just keep it with it, and we've been super successful, and it's been a great time. And I truly have one of the best jobs in the world doing what it is I do. I'm blessed, and I appreciate any and every opportunity I get.
I think that's super, super awesome. For you to be able to work in horror with the kind of work that you do, what is that like for you? Is this a way for you to reduce stress? Or do you get other things out of it for, say, your mental background?
So, being a law enforcement officer, I would say the vast majority of law enforcement officers at least one point in their career see some bad things, maybe more so than others. But you run into a lot of bad times. So the academy kind of trains you to, in a sense, the best you can deal with those things. And so movies, to me, it can be a coping mechanism for sure. One of the things I like to tell people when they ask me why I like to do what I do, especially when it comes to acting, is I don't ever have to deal with the consequences of the actions that my character inside of a movie does. What that means is whatever decision I make, especially in improv, that regards any situation that my character is thrown in, I don't ever have to take that home with me. It's something that I can leave there and leave, for the viewers later on. And so it's a good way to be in a bad situation and then mentally, with mental clarity, I guess, later on after the fact, get out of that bad situation. I don't have to sit there and it doesn't linger with me. It doesn't come home. It doesn't go through my front door. So that's truly a good thing.
At one point you said in an earlier conversation that you would like to play a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm
Really
cast as a
bad
good guy. Yeah, I'm cast as a good guy quite a bit. While I appreciate any acting opportunity I get, and it's great, and I'll play most anything. I just want to be a bad guy. Now I've played a serial killer a few times, which I've had a great honor of doing. I played the same serial killer in like more than 3 projects, which is cool. He just keeps reappearing. But I just want to, I want more people, so if you're listening, viewers at home somewhere, if you're a filmmaker and you need a bad guy, I want to do bad guy roles. I just want to be the exact opposite of what I had to do in law enforcement. I just want to be somebody that when somebody watches a project that I'm in and they see my face, they go, I hate that guy. And that's all right with me. I don't care.
We got a few photos for you. There you go.
That's just one of my many headshots.
You look like a good guy. I'm sorry, you just do.
I get told that. I try and be a good guy.
We need some bad guy headshot looks.
I know. I need to get some bad guy headshot looks. You see,
Yep.
that's just one of my many headshots, I guess you could say. I teach digital media production at a career technical education school. So my students are always, learning new techniques and stuff. So that's just one of the many photos that probably one of my students took for me in the past. And, I use it.
You look
There's
a little
me.
busy here. You look a little busy.
Yeah, so that's Joshua Brucker right there in that neon-ish yellow shirt, and that's just
Hi,
one of
Josh.
that's just one of the guys that we had do some voice work for us there on the left. His name's Cody, great kid. And we're probably in this particular instance, we're going over a scene where my character treks through some woods trying to get to a location. I did help Josh a lot with thinking of ideas on the spot and kind of things to do. So we had a good collaboration amongst the both of us to kind of bring the vision to life here. There's me. That's probably one of the first scenes we did. I'm speaking to a couple students that came out and wanted to learn what it was like. A lot of these guys were running crew, doing some things. It's in my basement right there, actually, where I'm located right now. Not the exact corner, but yeah, that's one of the first shots we did. I'm just explaining to crew members kind of the direction we're going here.
Yeah. And now I just now, after watching that trailer a bazillion times, I just now recognized where I've seen that background before. So
yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, hey, thank you for giving us a little bit of insight into what it was like for you. And now we're going to go over to Chloé. Hey, girl.
Hey.
That's better. So, boy, you have a very interesting background, and you are able to bring that background up into the film world, and you've got a really cool backstory. So let's get into it.
Well, hello. My name is Chloé Loren, and I play the role of Melody Arnold, the sister of Corinne Arnold in Ash's wraparound segment of Final Days. And this is my first film project ever, so it's awesome. But before that, I have done theater for about 9 years now. And that's kind of where I got my start, is on the stage. And it's something that I got to experiment with a lot of different characters, a lot of different roles. I loved the ones that were emotionally challenging. I love to really dig deep and explore that emotional side of people. But yeah, I kind of started on the stage, and I've always wanted to transition from stage to screen. So it's kind of awesome that I got to do that in this project.
Yes. So give us a little bit of an idea of something that you learned in theater that you brought forward to this film for your experience that maybe helped you either have a better understanding or helped you relax.
Well, I think the biggest thing I took away from theater to this project is working with characters. Stage and theater are very different. So I think that's the biggest takeaway that allowed me to be more comfortable, is taking what I've already done and what characters I've already explored with, and had that challenge of bringing to life and implementing how I brought this character to life. So yeah, it's kind of, that's kind of where I found my love of acting and my love for theater and this kind of creative world. So I think that's what I kind of brought here to kind of bring that familiarity back and make myself more comfortable in this new setting.
When you were on set and you had your first real couple of minutes of being in it and being filmed, what was that like for you after you got a break and were able to think about it a little bit?
It was quite a culture shock. Like I said, theater and stage are very different. Doing theater for so long, it's very mechanical. It's very kind of strict almost. You know, you're 3 days a week for hours. You're doing the same things. You're blocking, you're learning lines. It's very, very, I say this line, you move here. I stand up right here, you cross over. Like, it's very, it comes down to a science almost, I feel like. And with film, it's very different because, you know,
more, a little bit more fluid.
Yes, it's a lot more creative. It's a lot more on the fly, kind of, you block it right then and there, and then you film. So I felt kind of like, am I doing this right? Like, I hope I'm performing well. I hope that I'm, you know, doing what I need to do, which of course, Ash, Chanel, Steve, John Elder, like, they were all great in reassuring me that, like, yes, you're doing great. So that was nice, but it was quite different. It's they are very similar, but it's also two very different worlds, and I love them both.
Digging into my questions here. All right, so you had approximately 10 to 12 minutes of I wanted to say stage time, but actual film production time.
Yes.
In a lot of times people will look at something like that and go, well, that was only 10, 12 minutes of her life. No big deal.
Yeah.
Explain in indie terms and film terms what that really meant for you, that amount of time.
I mean,
how long was it, like, about, to be able to get that 10 to 12 minutes?
Yes, people kind of, I feel like when they watch the film, they only see little segments of it. Whereas we were doing, I mean, that weekend, that big chunk that we filmed that weekend, they were like 14 or more hour days. You know, you get there at like 6 or 7 in the morning and you're there until like 10, 11 at night. It's like really long days. So I think people kind of forget that, you know, that's all that hard work of everybody kind of grinding out and having fun at the same time. And I think that's what people don't see, is how long it takes to really bring a vision to life and be happy with, you know, what you're putting out.
So you got some words on a script, and you're going over your lines. What was it like for you to be able to take those words, breathe life into that, so that it would come out as a fully absorbed human having a real experience?
It's so fun to be able to be somebody else for a little bit. And I love kind of thinking to myself, if I were this person in this moment in time, and this was happening to me, and I have this line, how would I say that? How would I make this real so that people are like, oh my gosh, that's how I would be. Like,
Right.
yeah, you make it relatable for people. You kind of find where when we first see my character, she's kind of making a goodbye message for her sister, which was shown in the trailer. So it's very, very emotional. So you kind of have to find moments where you relate to that. You're like, when have I felt this desperate, this broken, this kind of helpless? And you channel that into what you're reading and what you're bringing to life. And that's why I love acting. I love diving into the emotional aspects of it and really making it something that people can be like, oh my gosh, like, I really feel that pain. I really feel
because
that.
a lot of the experience for people going to watch a film is, I mean, they don't probably consciously go in there and say, which character am I going to relate to?
Yeah.
But after they allow themselves to be able to pass into that level of belief that what they're seeing is a happening event, they eventually go and start gravitating towards characters, whether they hate that guy or they like that guy,
Right.
or they feel something off that screen. It is a
Right.
then fully immersive situation where they're watching an event that's happening, and there is something psychological that is going on within the audience that is starting to spark connection.
Right.
Let's see here. Did you miss the audience participation of stage while you were doing film?
That's a really good question. I do think that has its charms in itself. It really does. But like I said, for the science of it all, when you're up there on stage in front of 300 people, you literally cannot mess up. You have to get everything right. And if you don't get everything out right, you have to keep moving forward and you have to keep going. But with what I loved about film too is that there's so much room for play. There's so much room to experiment and throw ideas out and kind of find what's going to make that scene the best that it can be, and that's going to make it exactly what the director's vision is. So it makes it a lot more intimate too. Being in front of 300 people, you're just,
a little different experience. You got people that could be throwing tomatoes at you or flowers or
yes, but then
invitations.
Yes. And then in film, it's just a lot more connective almost. It's a lot, like I said, intimate. It's a lot more kind of lenient and kind of loosey-goosey, and you get a lot more opportunity to kind of bend the scene to a way that, makes it the best that it can be. So that's awesome.
What did you take away from your character that you will bring forward into theater?
Ooh. Well, what I would take away from my character, I think I would take away her resilience, her strength, the fact that she, lasted as long as she did and kind of did the best that she could with the circumstances that she was in. And that emotional depth that I kind of went with her, I think I would definitely take to theater as well, in different characters and exploring more storylines.
Awesome. Brilliant. All right, we're going to show some photos. There you go. I love that. I think that's just super freaking cool.
I love that one as well. I took that specifically not only for myself, but for my mom, because I had never seen a slate before, a real one. And so I kind of, when no one was looking, I was just like, and that's one of my favorite pictures that I took. Because I was so excited. I was so elated just to even be there. It was awesome.
There we go.
Yes. The glamour shot.
Very nice. This is very nice. And I like the coloring on you and all of this. Mm-hmm. All right, so we are going to go to your third photo. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, we're going to go here.
Yes.
You look a little intense. And the one in the middle is like, what the heck? And the other one's like, yeah, I think I did it, and I meant to do it, and I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things going on there. But me and Kayla and Rodney, we took a lot of fun little behind the scenes pictures throughout our filming experience. And that was one of them.
I love the look that you have on your face at this particular moment. It looks like you just went through an apocalyptic event beyond measure.
Oh yeah, she looks very, very distant. She looks like she's seen some stuff. She looks like she needs a therapist who enjoys a challenge. That's what that looks like.
Absolutely. I love all of that. I think that's super cool. I love this one too. This is great.
Oh yeah. That was after we filmed some B-roll. And I had to get kind of covered in blood again to replicate the smatter that we did when we actually filmed. And afterwards I was like, okay, who wants a hug from Chloe?
Yeah! All right, can you name off the people that are in the photo?
Yeah, so on the bottom left, we have the beautiful Chanel there, bright and smiling for us. And then at the top left, we've got Ash. And then there's me next to him, all bloody. And then to the right of me, we've got James Chandler and Randy Rambeau. And in the back, we've got Steve Taylor. And then that gentleman, I cannot remember his name for the life of me. And please forgive me for that. But they are all wonderful, amazing
I'll bring up
people.
Ash, and he'll be able to tell us. All right, Ash, who is that guy?
That is Bobby.
Bobby, yes.
Yes, that is Bobby. Bobby of Bobby and Gina fame.
Yes.
Husband and wife that we're good friends with, and Bobby is always there to help us out.
Right.
I love that. All right, let's see. Where are we at? There we are. All right, we're gonna bring back everybody else to the. All right, so we have had a very interesting discussion about how this film was put together. Now, I did want to ask Ash something, so I'm going to, let's see, we're going to take you, and you, Ash. All right, so this film has a couple of different names.
Yeah.
Do you feel froggy enough to say why? Or would you just like to say, it does, and, well, that's it?
I could definitely talk about it. So when you sort of get in this process of you've got a film, and now you're working with or partnering with distributors, you're partnering with advertisers, you're looking at what the life of the film is going to be like, after you hand it off. Then you'll get people who will come in and say, hey, listen, we've got some feedback for you. And it's difficult for some people, and it's been difficult for me in the past, to be able sometimes to take that constructive criticism and remove yourself from it. Like, you've got to be sort of objective. And I had really liked the title of Effed. I thought it was sort of, cool, and I don't even know if edgy is a word anymore, and not really edgy for our time, but edgier compared to another title. And I thought it was sort of exemplary of everything that we had in there. But the culture of film and the culture of streaming is constantly changing. The way it was 3 years ago is even vastly different to the way it is now.
Right.
So we've got platforms that are constantly looking at what's selling, why it's selling, and what they can do to sell it harder, because quite frankly, the platform is going to get 50% of everything off the top anyway, sometimes more.
Mm-hmm.
So, no matter what you do, no matter how well you do it, ultimately the streaming platform, to be able to put it out in the world, takes a huge chunk of that.
I want to show something. I want to show something here so that we're
Sure.
And it is related to what you're just talking about. All right. So can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. Talk about it.
So this originally was all the marketing collateral we had for it going into the film festivals, and just the initial sort of push for the film as we were getting people to see it and getting people to get excited about it. So everything was sort of about it being effed, the Grim Reaper, giving people the middle finger, the title effed, standing for exactly what we think it is. And, we were pretty comfortable with it. But, as we got in again to these partnerships, it was explained to us that, the culture of streaming is changing. They're looking for different things. They're looking to push different things. And right now, they're toning things down a little bit because they have such a huge back catalog of films they've acquired that they're exceptionally choosier than they used to be. So some films aren't even getting picked up when they got picked up easily. So, they came to me and they said, hey, listen, we know you're really taken with, all the marketing that you have for it. We know you're taken with the title of this and, some of the visuals behind it, but are you willing to try something different in hopes that we can reach a larger audience? And at the end of the day, the idea is that you want people to see the film. At the end of the day, you want people to see the performances of your actors. You want people to be able to, revel in what the other directors have made. So creatively, yeah, you have these things that you're really attached to, and subjectively you look at it, and that attachment sometimes is hard to get rid of or to move on from. But in this instance, I just said, hey, we do it whatever we got to do. If this is going to bring us a larger audience, if this is going to give us a little more clout with the platforms, if this is going to allow us to advertise to a larger audience, it's a little more inclusive, let's do it. So it ended up coming down to hey, listen, Effed is maybe not what everybody wants to promote as far as the title goes. How are we going to try to bounce back from this? And really, I got to say that it was Stephen Taylor, one of the writers, that was sort of spitballing with him. And I'm like, is there something that we can do that's going to still be effed, but maybe we're sort of expanding upon that? So we were looking at, an F word and a D word and putting it together. And he was like, hey, how about Final Days? And I said, you know what? That's perfect. Let's roll with it. We can still use some of the F collateral because it's F and it's D. It's not a huge departure from it. Let's move in that direction. And that's the direction that we chose.
I think everything that is a part of this particular film is pretty cool. And y'all had such interesting separate experiences, but blended together, it just worked really, really well. Anything else that you would like to add to any of your experiences, or would you have anything that you want to say to anybody else on the stage? If you do, then now is your time to do it.
Yeah, I'll speak up if nobody else minds. And this is obviously a tale as old as time when it comes to indie filmmaking, and everyone sort of knows this, but I think it's worth reiterating, especially that this is a large chunk out of everybody's life. It's not just about showing up on set. It's about, showing up for podcasts. In our experience, we had numerous festivals across the United States. Many people traveled 6, 7, 12 plus hours to be able to attend for us. That this is a collaborative effort, and it's fantastic when you see people who are able to put everything into one project, and then they understand that there's a turnaround to another project and that they'll be doing the same thing. It's, I think, testament to a passion for doing this. It's compulsory. It really is. I don't think any of us be doing it because it's not necessarily easy. It's not necessarily forgiving. It's not necessarily congratulatory. A lot of this stuff is stuff that you're doing at 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting at your computer, trying to.
It's hard.
It is.
Indie film is not something that you can just freaking, I don't know. It's a lot about this. It's a lot about promotions. It's a lot about awareness. It's a lot about advertising, and a lot of people can be very uncomfortable with doing that, but it's all part of getting the word out about this thing you made, especially if the production company and the people that are at the helm helping behind the scenes try to get this thing all together, especially if they're really, really good at what they do and they actually do give a damn about the whole entire project, not just pieces, parts.
Yeah, it's testament to this idea that everyone is doing this out of a place of deep love. It's not necessarily it's not because it's easy, because it's not, and it's not just because it's rewarding, because at the end of the day, a lot of times it's actually not rewarding. You do this thing where you put not only your time into it, but there's a lot of sweat equity. And then, you get to go on a forum where somebody goes, I haven't seen a piece of shit this hot since I took my dog to the park. And then you're like, thanks. Thanks for recognizing all my hard work and effort.
Give a little conversation about what some of these people are saying about this film.
Well, we have a lot of positive.
Yes, you do.
Had a lot of critical acclaim. We've had a lot of people really like it. We, at this stage, I think that we came in at 36 awards on the film festival circuit in its entirety.
That's crazy.
Which is pretty crazy. We were opposite Maxine from Ty West at one festival. We were up for Best Feature, where it played on a Friday. We played on a Saturday. And I'm sitting there going, really? Did you have two films that were submitted, ours and Maxine? Just joking. But, you do take a step back and you understand that you did do something that obviously caught people's attention for it to be running up against films like that. I will say we did not win, but it was great to be there and know that you're in the same room with, guys like Anthony Starr from The Boys and, Walt Goggins from Fallout, we're there. And it's a kind of a crazy thing to be able to be put into that same arena and to understand that, you're up against $8 million movies, $10 million movies.
Yes.
And, I think the budget of ours with every single segment, excluding some of the marketing and stuff, probably came in at around 30, 35. So that's extremely small. I mean, that is the rule of no budget. Micro budget's about $350,000. That's micro budget. Low budget extends into the low millions. So to be able to put yourself against something that is a very, at least in our genre, a very widely released film, even if you have a very small chance of competing against it, but being up against it with a $35,000 film is pretty incredible. So yeah, we have had a lot of acclaim. We've had a lot of people really like it, but you're always going to get that guy that's going to come in and,
there's always going to be that 5% that says blah, 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 blah.
And they're very witty and they're very loud. And you have to just take a step back and go, okay. And sometimes you got to kill them with kindness. And sometimes
Never
it's
mind.
rewarding to kill them with kindness. But, it is the way it is.
So I put a thing up here. It says, you'd be surprised who's watching your journey and being inspired by it. Don't quit. I would like to see what Thomas thinks about that.
Oh my!
Because he's so old.
Yeah, thank you.
God, Thomas.
Thanks.
Well, I am a
Why did you make it this far?
vampire, so I'm a little older than Thomas, but yeah, you got.
We're all on borrowed time here.
I think a lot of folks that are in my world, in my circle, in my lifetime, gave up on me a long time ago. Because I was the baby brother. I was the drug addict. I was sleeping in the cars. I was flopping in whatever neighbor's or friend's couch for many years. And I would never be anything. Now I have 2 degrees. I have a wonderful life, wonderful wife. I have great grandkids, great great grandkids. I have good people in my life. Doing art. I'm doing what I want to do. I am. I even got into ministry for about 5 or 6 years, and I keep going. I keep getting up. I keep smiling. I look at the days that come at me, treating me like the fire hydrant when everybody's a dog, and I say, "Is that all you got?" And then I meet people like Ash and Chanel, and they put me in a film, and it adds to the fun in life, and it's just a joy to be a part of whatever this is, and I enjoy it.
Hunter, what do you think about the statement? Don't quit.
I find that, that's just it, right? Don't quit. Just like Thomas said, there's going to be a lot of people that doubt you, that don't think that you can do anything. Or, especially if you dream something like to be in a movie, be an actor, anything like that. All you got to do is start and not be lazy with it. That's really all it is. And I don't say that disrespectfully to anybody out there, but there's a whole lot of people that want this, that don't work for it. There's a whole lot of people that think that things are just going to be handed to them, that don't go out and try and achieve it. So if you really want to be in this industry or do anything in life, you got to start. You got to get out there and start, and then don't quit when there's a couple naysayers. You got to take a lot of no's before you get the yes that changes your life. So that's all it is.
Chloe, what do you think about the statement?
I mean, yeah, Hunter said pretty much what I was thinking. There's always going to be people that doubt you or that don't take what you do seriously. Or, if you say, yeah, I want to be an actress, I want to do this for real, you'll get the people that are like, oh, that's cute. But that only makes me want to do it more and just prove it more. Like, you just wait. You just wait.
Right?
Keep talking. I'm gonna show you something one day. And yeah, I think the love makes you want to do it. I don't do it because I want to do it. I do it because I need to do it. I don't think, like, I truly, and I've said this to people like my mom and things, I don't think I would be truly happy doing anything else, honestly. I love being surrounded by creatives, and I love to be in this world of, experimentation and fantasy and just all of these things. It makes me feel alive. So yeah, quitting is not an option because this is what I want. This is what I do. And
besides, I need content.
And if people don't like it, hey, that's
they can go.
Yeah, like have fun living a boring life.
Right, all right, I got some BTS to show real quick. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 or 5 things. I'm going to go quickly. Hey, who's in the background, Ash?
We've got a few people. My wife has helped sort of applying this squib that's going to on the back of Tom's back. We've got our effects artist, Phil Yeary, that's also up applying that. One of his assistants, Wayne Tuttle, who was there on the set. And then one of the writers and just a guy who lit his hand to a lot of things. You can barely see his head there, John Elder in the background.
Hi. All right, here's the next one.
So we've got my wife again, me again, and we've got Lee Hurt, who was our sound guy on the film. Lee is a Full Sail University student in sound. Brought a lot to this film, a lot that we needed, and just worked his tail off.
All right. Here you go.
So we've got Tom again. We've got my wife in the background. She's in every shot. My wife's in every shot, basically. We've got Kayla Kelly. We've got Scotty G. We've got Zach back there, who was one of our extras as well. So this was filmed in the news center scene, which took a lot of redressing. This is also in the news center area here. So we've got Tom in the background. We've got Michelle, who is one of our producers back there in the background. And we've got Kayla again. And we've got Scotty G, our DP, sort of going through the motions here to see what we need for the shot.
You have a amazing group of people here that have really, really had a great experience in making this film. And I want to thank every single one of you for making it on this evening. And, so what did you think about your first experience on Zombiepalooza Radio Live? We're going to go to Chloe.
This was super fun. I've never done an interview before, so I hope I did okay. But this was great. I loved it. I think it was super fun to talk with you, Jackie, and hear everybody else's kind of words and experiences. And I think it was great. I loved it, and I would definitely do it again.
Thank you. We're going to go to Thomas.
Oh, it was a joy to do, joy to be a part of this. I have been interviewed for things before. I have been on TV, but not in this format at all. It's very cool. It's just to get to interact with people in this environment, and it's not a Zoom meeting where you have to be polite and whatever and watch what you say and that kind of stuff, But
I do know.
It's good to see friendly faces again that I haven't seen in a while.
Thank you very much. Hunter.
Wait, Tom just said something about being able to be free with your speech. You're telling me I could have used some foul language in this?
You could have. You could. What I like to do here is I like to be able to give the creatives the ability to be able to be very guttural about their work, their experiences. I want people to know what it's really like. Like Chloe, you got up at some ridiculous hour and you got to a building at 6 a.m. just to see if you could get a yes. That is phenomenal. And those experiences and the long nights, the long days, the necessity of getting everything that might be new, just on point in doing this for a film, all of that is a very guttural, visceral experience. Often, especially when we're working with horror film, and you could have really went raw and said exactly what you thought. You missed your opportunity.
Damn it! There we go. I'll get it out there.
All right, Ash. We have had a number of weeks putting this production together. I have met some absolutely phenomenal people that weren't able to be here this evening. And they some of them have videos that they have taken that after we get all of this locked in the can, I send to you. Hopefully you'll be able to add those to the interview portion. What do you think about what your people did for you?
I think everyone that's here, these are consummate professionals. These are people who, know their craft, and they're forever working on themselves as much as they're, working on their dreams, and that's sort of what we're all doing. And it's fantastic to see people here. Showing up is a big part of this. Just showing up and promoting and showing up and letting people know that you're here, and that you're here to stay.
Thank you very much, Ash, Hunter, Chloe, and Thomas, for being part of another episode of Zombiepalooza Radio Live.
Thank you all.